Hello, this is Metamartha with Collection Ascension, and I will be doing the reading for November 19th full moon for the energy between now and the last quarter moon on the 27th. So I just ask for clear guided messages in order for me to tap into the energies that we will be faced with this week to see what there is we can do to improve, prepare for, and anticipate. Off to a good start. One more card, please. Okay, then. So initially, when I first put the solo card out, instantly I started thinking about how perspective to look for everything that we could be grateful for in order to shift the placements that we have in our life is what originally came up. Just like allowing the essence of the full moon, which is just like celebration, gladness, Thanksgiving, all that, to help us accelerate what we want to see come up for us in our lives, who we want to become, who we are becoming, and just providing us with the ability to pave our own way in that with gratitude. And so to see that the Four of Cups is in reverse here at the final stage, it's kind of like achieving that goal. So coming immediately from the Six of Cups, being able to view the world in this way will start to enrich your environment and have a effect on those around you when you are able to share that essence of just like divine gratitude and just like hospitality and just like a humbled nature. It causes us to become gentle, which will then allow those around us to soften. And with the Page of Swords and the Two of Swords in reverse, hang on, I actually feel like the page was not reversed when it came out. Oh well, I'll leave it like this for now because, maybe I placed it this way for a purpose. Either way, I feel as though when we don't live our lives with that level of understanding and that higher perspective, we then put ourselves in a position where we make decisions from a more immature understanding of things, and unenlightened. It's like when we're in our reptilian mind, when we're in fight or flight and we feel like the world is up against us because, if we're looking at the negatives that are happening, then we're going to be training our brains to amplify those or magnify them in our lives. And so then when we start using this gratitude, we start to look for things to be grateful for, just like I said, shifting that perspective. And by doing this, I feel like it's going to be breaking in line, so to speak. Not so boldly, maybe, just, allowing it, that nature, to take a step before you. Like, oh no, you can go ahead, will keep us from making those irrational decisions, from acting too quickly and too heady, when we're feeling a bit ornery or overwhelmed. And to be able for this to wash over that reaction when we're called to respond, it will free us up to start being able to make decisions for ourselves with that level of understanding and enlightenment. And we won't have to put our guard up in this way where we feel stuck, like we don't really know what to do. It's just going to come. And, with this moon here, which one are you? I believe this is a waning. So it's just like taking our time and letting ourselves reflect and rest in that peace of knowing that when we surrender to our guidance system, our higher selves, and just our own general sense of spirituality, we don't have to feel so overwhelmed and stuck, because we know that what we're hearing in our guidance is for the highest good of our whole environment, and we won't have to experience the things that trip us up in this way. And like I said about releasing control, with the Emperor, I feel as though maybe where we've been, I know for myself at least, I might be calling myself out here a little bit, but with the energy coming off of this Taurus full moon, and with the amplification of that with the eclipse, I have been feeling very tired and overwhelmed and hard-headed, and my child is a Taurus, and he has just been bucking at me at any chance he can get. And I feel like when we act in that way toward what we know is what's best for us, we don't want to listen. It's just causing more problems for ourselves. Oh my gosh, I'm receiving downloads about my own situation right now. Sorry. Okay, example. When I have been telling my child, the Taurus I'm talking about, maybe you should do something this way, or could you please not do that, And if it's something he's opposed to, he's been grinding his teeth at me in my direction, showing me his teeth and going and I've noticed he started chipping his front two teeth. And every time he does that, I say, hey, that's not hurting me, that's hurting you. And I feel like, I said, with this Taurus full moon and the energy that's been so intense this week, when we're feeling in this way, irrational, and we're just a bit overzealous, and stuck in our stuff, and we don't release that control in the moment, and we are butting heads with our own inner knowing of what's best. It's like grinding your teeth at yourself, and the universe is like, this is just hurting you, I have your best interest in mind. Maybe responding in those automatic ways that come from previously established programming that triggers the ego. And I get overwhelmed, I yell. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad, physically sick. And being able to allow yourself to surrender the position of having everything be on you, like you being in full control of your life, you having all of the responsibilities that are on your shoulders in your life, allowing yourselves to just kind of succumb to them, release control, ask your guidance, what's going on, what do I need to do, what should I say, and then leaning into that, you can restore harmony in your relationships. So we have the Three of Cups in reverse. So I know that when I am not happy, it seems like no one around me is happy. And I think for us to just radiate that influence of somebody who does fully trust in the universe with that surrender and just inner I had a word, but now gratification is stuck in my brain and it's just on repeat every time I try to think of what I was saying. Just reassurance. And I guess we would then become gratified. I don't know. That will allow us to move through this disharmony in our environment, in our relationships, and just like brighten the atmosphere a little bit and lead us to the threshold of coming out of maybe these lower vibrational feelings. It comes and goes. It's always going to come and it's always going to go. And this is like we're on the precipice of this new invigorated enlightenment of coming right back up. And I think maybe this is just saying, okay, that's what I saw. Okay, so I moved him here. So it's like, while we go through this week of trial and error, that's been kind of in tune with the last few days, then we establish gratitude as we process all these things. Then we are moving toward the full. So to be able to approach these things with gratitude for every lesson, no matter how hard it is, we then can re-access this higher, more free and happy and optimistic, positive vibration, energy version of ourselves with less trauma in between. And then we move on to the Ace of Wands. So it's just getting through the process. And when I said that, it was at 1313 on the timestamp, which is a number for Hecate. So, she is about really leaning into your shadow and fully accepting and embracing the light and the darkness within. So that's really what this is about, allowing yourself to shine light by having gratitude when your darker aspects of self start to rise up to the surface and want to put their face on through your expression. Allowing yourself to just interact with that by yourself without putting it out into your space will save a lot of unnecessary damage, but irreparable came out. So maybe, the way that we respond with our people in our life, when we are feeling these senses, the shadowy figure coming out, it can cause damage. So keeping ourselves on guard on that so that we can be grateful for the possibility of even bypassing ourselves in that manner. Like I said, this process helps us to, when we get through, feel a lot more ready or willing to take up whatever comes next for us. Let's see if I can get any clarifiers. What about the Page of Swords? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Interesting. Okay. So the Page of Swords has now the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords in reverse is about speaking what needs to be expressed in order for there to be a guard against a growth in resentment. So it's basically what I was just talking about. Being able to have that open dialogue with yourself and maybe communicate openly with those who are, a part of this dynamic, and saying what you need to say while you're calm instead of irrationally reacting in the moment while you're heated with that negatively charged reactionary, blah blah. Look, okay. So we have the birds right overhead, a bit forward. It's saying, hey, we're going this way, our guidance, follow us this way. But he has taken a pause and is getting himself up, guarding. Oh, I'm going to take this swift move really quick. And, when we're reactionary, we come flying in with all of our spewage, wanting to say what's exactly on our mind. And look, we leave our birds behind us. Like, what if they're still flying the same direction? We're going the other way now. So, okay, and by the way, I'm bringing up birds just in case you're not into the symbolism. Birds are the messengers between us and the spirit realm. So, just allowing us to slow down and lead into our guidance when we're feeling like that, when we're wanting to just act instead of take the time. And so we also have the Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Pentacles, and then the Queen of Wands. So it's like, honestly, I would prefer it to be this way, but it came out this way, so I'll keep it. But it's like, what keeps us from becoming the manifester of our intuition and desires and our spiritual call is this response or a reaction like that. The way we choose to respond in the moments of lower density will either ensure or block us from our manifestations and our being able to have the power to physically bring forth what we want from a deep inner knowing. So sorry I get anal about it. Okay. Good enough. So, any last words? Okie dokie. Okay. We have the Hermit in reverse and Justice in reverse. So, I would say, like I said, not having to fight our own battles. Let's not get too in our head about what's going on. Get all in. It's like, don't get in the shadow. Don't forget your wisdom because you're in this self-defense mode of the ego and the way that we must put that guard up to protect ourselves. Sometimes it's all good to allow balance to be restored when we let our integration, our spirit team, and our higher understanding to be the one who restores peace by bringing forth justice, instead of us having to demand it ourselves. And when we are just in our feelings and allowing that to become a physical without really processing them or acknowledging them within ourselves, validating them for ourselves with ourselves, and all that, we're not shining our light on our shadow at that time. We're not allowing it to be fully embraced and healed, and we're not using the wisdom that we learn from it, or the wisdom that comes from interacting and engaging with it in that level. So, also, with the Hermit, he spends a lot of time alone in reflection, but, what I was thinking from that this time is that, that we're hiding from ourselves when we do this. We're hiding from our true essence and our true nature when we let our programming and automatic reaction to take hold of our physicality and allow us to lose control. So, let's see. Yep, and then we have judgment at the bottom. So this will offer us, not only the insight of a fool, but also just like a new, clean slate in our spirituality. So now I will move on. This is the Oracle deck from the Asking Your Guides book by Sonia Choquette. I keep it in the description box below, just in case anyone views my videos who is not familiar with how to get in touch with their guides, who aren't communicating with their guides and don't have a full understanding of the way that the universe can communicate with you. That book is very good, and I recommend it all the time. So that was just a precursor to what these cards are for, because these will be guidance systems or guides, which types of guides you can access and communicate with and ask help for these things. Like, what beings can we access to ask for help when we're trying to process this and get through it? And I've seen 44 on the timestamp a whole bunch, and that's my number, like a rizzle. See it all the time, and seeing it this many times now that I'm talking about the Asking Your Guides. 44 is the number of knowing that you have your guidance there with you, that you have beings and higher dimensional influences around you that want to help you, and it's just a reminder to ask for it. And I think we oftentimes go through a lot of themes where, we're going on how we will be in a position where some of the same guides want to just interact in our lives reoccurringly, and then when that time is over, they will depart and new guides come in, and we've had the warrior guides come up for us a lot. Same with the master teacher. Okay. I mean, there's this many cards and we're having the same ones fall out week to week. Are you wanting something? Okay. I got another repeat, the inner child. Different card, same being. So we have competition with the warrior guides. And so sorry about the glare, it does this every time. It's like I said, that inner strife. And maybe, that's the reflection of the way that we interact with people when we have that inner strife within us and unresolved. And we are in competition with ourselves because we know what we should be doing and our guides know what we should be doing, and we're still reacting in the lower vibration. And they're just standing there like, are they going to ask for help? And then when I said that, it was at 55 seconds, and that's about releasing what no longer serves you. So asking for help in order to be able to even do that. Hang on one second. Never mind. And then we have partnerships and love with the nature guides. That's what I was saying about the Three of Cups too. This is going to restore our relationship and love with ourselves and the relationship we have with others and the love that we show them. Getting out in nature and maybe grounding this negative energy that we've got going on whenever we're starting to feel overwhelmed, taking a time outside to get that out in a positive way. And then we also have victory with the divine helpers. It's like they're just waiting for it. They just want it. They want us to act. And they've put that spotlight on us because it's like, look, when you shine light, light shines on you too. And we want to sprinkle you with our love and divinity. They want us to have victory. So to get through this, ask for that victory with the divine helpers. And then we have discipline, the master teacher, which goes right along with it, because to be able to break the cycle of tug of war with ourselves, we must apply discipline, self-discipline. In order to restore our relationships, we need to learn how to speak positively, not heated, not with resentment. So then maybe when we are taking time to reflect and having some time to ourselves, we then use the master teachers. Ask them to show us what we're not seeing from the perspective that would teach us something positive, and allowing ourselves to receive the answers through imagination, connecting with the inner child, that same essence of the Fool. Check this parallel. It's even like this is us grown, allowing our inner child to come out. Imagine it being projection, and really enjoy. Because say we see a butterfly and we're like, oh, that reminds me of this day that I had as a child, and just letting whatever triggers your inner child to come forth so that we can continue to transform over and over and over again. I feel like this week has been kind of heavy, and it's really been about perseverance. And I think that's really all that it is at all. Everything. It's always going to be up and down. Cycle. It's always going to be healing, exploring, reflecting, and then healing some more, and exploring some more, and partying with the higher self, engagement and having fun, and letting that wash over your relationships just for you to feel down again and then go right back up. I mean, it's just a process. It's the breath of the universe, and we're all good all the time. Just because we're in a breath out doesn't mean there's not going to be oxygen, and it doesn't mean that it's not serving a purpose. We're letting that carbon dioxide, figuratively, metaphorically, be released. We can't just live life holding our breath. We need to expand and deflate with the diaphragm of the universe. Ironically, that's where the self and identity is found anyway. So maybe we access our divine power just by engaging and allowing ourselves to function here in the diaphragm, allowing our self-awareness and spiritual identities to expand as well. So again, those are the warrior guides, the nature spirits, the divine helpers, the master teachers, and the inner child. I believe in us because I believe in me. And we are all one. And we are all working it out. And we're all going to do just fine. So, merry new moon, or full moon. And I hope you have a blessed day.